great season for Somerset, challenging in all three competitions, but disappointment at the end of it. And it's not the first time in recent years that Somerset have come rather unstuck in September. What is it about the last month of the season?
It's a great question. Look, I think the reality is it's not a great season, it's a really good season. Great seasons are where you actually achieve things and ultimately win trophies, and we haven't been able to do that. I'm incredibly proud of the group putting ourselves in that position to do that. It was one of the aims, and I think with the depth of the squad that we have to do that and the way we've done it, I'm incredibly proud of that. So the honest answer is I'm not quite sure yet. We need an opportunity to reflect and actually think about it. But I think if you look at the nature of some of the games and then coming away from finals day, the quick turnaround, going up to Old Trafford, and the day one there hit us hard, I think, emotionally, and we haven't quite recovered from that.
Was it just the fact that you were contending in all three competitions that just put too much strain on the group?
Potentially. It's incredibly demanding mentally. I mean, it's a hard thing to explain, but you feel it within the group that people are mentally exhausted, and that's, that can be weeks ago. Because the intensity of the cricket that you're playing and what you're trying to achieve, it's not easy to do. It's a challenge that we relish, and that will definitely be some of the learning, is how you develop that mental robustness to actually ensure that you're arguably mentally in the same space you are in April and May come the end of the summer.
When you look back on the season, what's pleased you most about it?
Look, it's growth. I think if you look at it as individuals, there's been some huge growth there, whether it's Banton, Lammonby, James Rue, another outstanding season. Lewis Gregory, I think, has been immense as a leader and has demonstrated that both on and off the field. But collectively as a team, again, we're moving forward, and I think that's, I've always talked about the journey, and we want to keep putting ourselves in a position. The challenge for us as a group is the expectations getting higher each year, so you need to be able to manage that as well. And as I say, I think it's important now. There's a huge amount of emotion around the group and the club, a huge amount of disappointment, frustration, excitement. And it's important we process those emotions and make sure that we're learning from the right experiences.
But again, on a positive note, we've had the advent of Archie Vaughan, terrific young cricketer, and Jack Leach back to his best.
Yeah, look, Jack Leach is incredible. I will always speak incredibly highly of him. He demonstrates it week in, week out. And when he gets opportunities for us to show what he can do, we see that, and we see that he's really enjoying his cricket at the minute. So hopefully that'll transfer into the winter when hopefully he gets the opportunity for England in Pakistan, because he shows how good a spinner he is and the calibre that he can bring to that team. And you mentioned Archie there; he's come into the team. The most pleasing thing for me is the maturity. It looks like he's been playing first-class cricket for a long time. He relishes the challenge of opening the batting, which is incredibly difficult in this country. He wants to do that. He's demonstrated that he's got the capabilities for that, and has been outstanding with the ball.
And looking at the season as a whole and looking at the squad as a whole, where do you feel it needs strengthening for next year?
Well, you need strength in depth. There's always the comparative to champions in all formats, and I think from a bowling point of view, we need to try and strengthen that department. Obviously, coming into the back end of the season, if you've got that depth, it allows you to rest, rotate, keep people fresh. Obviously, we threw everything at Old Trafford with Craig Overton, and that had an impact on this game that he's not available. So, to try and have what I talk 6 first-class bowlers of quality that are going to influence games, it'd be great. But again, that might not be possible. And we saw Alfie come into the team this week and do a brilliant job.
Still got that problem with the opening partnership in the Championship there, haven't you?
Well, I think a lot of teams have. I think, look, if you look at the nature of opening the batting in domestic cricket, it's incredibly difficult. As we say, we've seen Archie do really well. Lammers did a brilliant job last year. Arguably got a hard time, but had done a really good job at the top of the order. There's not many openers that are averaging 40 in first-class cricket anymore. So the game's changing in that sense. So it's an issue. I won't say it's a problem, but it's an issue that actually we'd love to be 100 for none every game. Of course we would. The reality of first-class cricket, if you look, the first 20 overs, the bowlers seem to be dominating the game, and if you can get through that period, teams are scoring heavily.
Finally, at the end of a very eventful season for Somerset, where's the balance between pride on the one hand and disappointment on the other?
I think, look, the raw emotion right now is frustration and disappointment. We're all human beings and we all want to be successful, and that's why we're here. The aims are incredibly high. We're incredibly ambitious as a club, and that's why it's important that we do have time to reflect. Because chatting to the guys there, I'm incredibly proud of their efforts. I'm incredibly proud of some of the development. But but you want to win. We want to be sat here celebrating what has been a remarkable season as opposed to a very good one.